As parents, we dedicate decades to nurturing our children, guiding their steps, and sacrificing our own needs to ensure their happiness and success. We pour love, time, and energy into raising them, often placing their well-being above our own. But there comes a moment in life when the dynamic shifts. One day you may notice a change. Perhaps your children dismiss your advice, speak to you with impatience, or treat you as if your presence is an inconvenience. This shift can be deeply painful, leaving you feeling unappreciated, frustrated, or even invisible. You might be tempted to confront them, to remind them of all you've done, or to demand the respect you know you deserve. But here's a truth that can transform your relationships. Respect cannot be forced or won through anger. Instead, it is earned through subtle, intentional changes in how you carry yourself and interact with your children. If your adult children are treating you with less respect than you deserve, this guide offers 6 powerful strategies to help you reclaim your place as a valued and respected figure in their lives. These approaches are not about confrontation or ultimatums. They are about shifting your mindset, setting boundaries, and rediscovering your own strength. By implementing these changes, you can foster healthier, more respectful relationships with your children, without arguments or resentment. Let's dive into the 6 actions you can take to inspire respect and rebuild your connection with your adult children. Action 1. Embrace your own worth instead of seeking their validation. One of the most common mistakes parents make as their children grow into adulthood is seeking their approval. You might find yourself going out of your way to please them, agreeing to their requests even when it inconveniences you, staying silent when you disagree, or prioritizing their needs over your own. The hope is that by doing enough, you'll earn their gratitude and respect. But this approach often backfires. The more you chase their approval, the less they value you. Why? Because people, including your children, respect those who respect themselves. Consider the story of Eleanor, a retired nurse who had always been a pillar of strength for her family. As her children grew older, she began accommodating their every demand, from rearranging her schedule to avoiding disagreements to keep the peace. She believed this would strengthen their bond, but instead her children began taking her for granted. They spoke to her dismissively, ignored her input, and assumed she would always be available. The turning point came when Eleanor realized that her selflessness was undermining her dignity. She started saying no when necessary, voicing her opinions confidently, and prioritizing her own needs. At first, her children were surprised, but over time, they began to see her as a person with her own identity, not just a parent who existed to serve them. To regain respect, stop seeking validation from your children. Instead, cultivate self-respect. Set clear boundaries, express your thoughts even if they differ, and show them that your feelings matter. When you value yourself, you teach others to value you too. This shift may feel uncomfortable at first, but it's the foundation for rebuilding respect in your relationship. Action 2. Respond with dignity, not defensiveness. When your children dismiss your opinions, interrupt you, or treat you with disrespect, your instinct might be to argue or defend your worth. You may feel compelled to remind them of the sacrifices you've made or to demand that they listen. But arguments rarely lead to respect. In fact, engaging in heated debates often reinforces the dynamic you're trying to change. It signals that your children have the power to unsettle you. Instead of arguing, lead by example. Respond to disrespect with calm confidence, showing that you are unshaken by their behavior. This approach is far more powerful than words. Take the example of James, a former military officer whose adult children began treating him as irrelevant. They ignored his advice and spoke to him with condescension. At first, James reacted by arguing, trying to prove his worth, but the more he fought, the more distant they became. Then he changed his approach. When his daughter interrupted him, he calmly said, "I'll share my thoughts when you're ready to listen." When his son dismissed his perspective, he responded with, "You may not agree, but I'd appreciate you hearing me out." By maintaining his composure and refusing to engage in power struggles, James demonstrated strength and self-assurance. Over time, his children began to respect his quiet authority. When faced with disrespect, resist the urge to argue. Instead, carry yourself with dignity. Speak thoughtfully, listen attentively, and respond in a way that reflects your inner strength. By modeling respect, you show your children what it looks like, and they'll be more likely to mirror it back to you. Action 3. Cultivate emotional independence. As parents, it's natural to crave love and connection from your children, but relying on them for emotional fulfillment can create an unhealthy dynamic. When your children sense that you need their attention or affection to feel whole, they may feel burdened rather than grateful. This can lead to impatience, withdrawal, or even resentment, eroding the respect they once had for you. Emotional independence is key to regaining respect. This doesn't mean distancing yourself from your children or loving them less. It means finding fulfillment within yourself. Consider the story of Maria, a mother of three who felt increasingly isolated as her children built their own lives. She called them frequently, hoping for long conversations, and felt hurt when they were too busy to respond. Her constant outreach made her children feel obligated rather than eager to connect. Realizing this, Maria decided to focus on herself. She joined a local art class, reconnected with old friends, and started gardening. As she built a richer, more independent life, her children noticed the change. They began reaching out more, intrigued by her newfound passions and impressed by her resilience. To inspire respect, show your children that you are a complete person with your own sources of joy. Pursue hobbies, nurture friendships, and invest in your well-being. When you demonstrate that you don't rely on them for happiness, they'll value your presence more, not out of duty, but out of genuine admiration. Action 4. Establish and uphold boundaries. Respect thrives in relationships where boundaries are clear and consistent. If your children speak to you disrespectfully, disregard your feelings, or take your time for granted, it may be because you've allowed it to happen. Without boundaries, even well-meaning children may assume they can treat you however they please. Setting boundaries doesn't mean being harsh or confrontational. It means calmly defining what behavior you will and won't accept. For example, if your child speaks to you rudely, you might say, "I'm happy to talk when we can both be respectful." If they dismiss your concerns, you could respond, "I value your perspective, and I expect the same in return." The key is to enforce these boundaries consistently. If you set a boundary but fail to uphold it, you send the message that disrespect is tolerable. Take the example of Sarah, a grandmother who felt disrespected by her adult son. He frequently canceled plans at the last minute and spoke to her impatiently. For years, Sarah tolerated this behavior, hoping he'd change. But one day she decided to take a stand. When he canceled yet another visit, she calmly told him, "I understand you're busy, but I'd appreciate more notice in the future. Let's plan another time when you're sure you can make it." When he spoke to her sharply, she said, "I'll continue this conversation when we can speak kindly." At first, her son pushed back, but Sarah held firm. Over time, he began to respect her time and tone, realizing that she valued herself enough to demand better treatment. If your children don't respect you, reflect on the boundaries you've set or haven't set. Decide what you're willing to accept, communicate it clearly, and follow through. When you show that your dignity is non-negotiable, your children will adjust their behavior accordingly. Action 5. Give thoughtfully, not automatically. As parents, we often give generously to our children, our time, energy, resources, and support. But when this giving becomes one-sided, it can erode respect. If your children take your efforts for granted or expect your help without gratitude, they may stop seeing your contributions as valuable. Instead, they may view them as an entitlement, which can lead to resentment when you're unable to meet their demands. To regain respect, give thoughtfully rather than reflexively. This means offering help when it's genuinely appreciated and saying no when it's not. Consider the story of David, a father who spent years helping his adult children financially. He paid for their car repairs, covered unexpected bills, and even helped with rent. But instead of gratitude, he received complaints when he couldn't assist immediately. Frustrated, David decided to change his approach. He stopped offering help preemptively and instead waited for his children to ask. When they did, he set clear expectations, such as, "I can help this time, but I'd appreciate it if we could discuss a plan for the future." By making his support conditional on mutual respect, David taught his children to value his generosity. Over time, they began expressing gratitude and relying on him less, which strengthened their relationship. Evaluate how you give to your children. Are you offering more than is appreciated? If so, scale back and focus on giving in ways that foster mutual respect. When your children see that your support is a gift, not a guarantee, they'll value it and you more deeply. Action 6. Create a vibrant life of your own. One of the most powerful ways to earn your children's respect is to show them that your life is full and meaningful beyond your role as a parent. When your children perceive you as someone whose happiness depends on them, they may feel pressured or even dismissive. But when they see you as a person with your own passions, relationships, and purpose, they're more likely to admire and respect you. Take the example of Linda, a widow who felt sidelined by her adult children after her husband's passing. She had centered her life around them, frequently checking in and offering unsolicited advice. But her children, busy with their own lives, began to pull away. Feeling lonely, Linda decided to reclaim her independence. She enrolled in a photography course, joined a hiking group, and started volunteering at a local animal shelter. As she built a fulfilling life, her children noticed. They were intrigued by her new hobbies and impressed by her vitality. They began calling more often, eager to hear about her adventures and inspired by her resilience.
To regain respect, invest in yourself. Explore new interests, reconnect with friends, or pursue goals you've put on hold. When your children see you thriving, they'll view you not just as a parent, but as a person with depth and purpose. This shift can transform how they relate to you, fostering admiration and respect. Final thoughts: inspiring respect. Through your actions, regaining respect from your adult children is not about demanding it. It's about inspiring it through your actions, mindset, and choices. By embracing your own worth, responding with dignity, cultivating emotional independence, setting boundaries, giving thoughtfully, and building a vibrant life, you can transform how your children see you. These strategies require patience and consistency, but they are profoundly effective. Over time, your children will begin to view you not as someone who exists to serve them, but as a person of strength, wisdom, and value. Respect is not a gift you can force someone to give. It's a response to the way you live your life. When you carry yourself with confidence, set clear expectations, and show that you are complete on your own, your children will notice. They'll respect you not because they have to, but because they want to. And in that shift, you'll find not only respect, but also a deeper, more authentic connection with the people you've loved and raised. Thank you for exploring these strategies with us. If you found this guide helpful, consider sharing it with others who might benefit. And if you're ready to take the first step, reflect on one action you can implement today. Your journey to reclaiming respect starts with a single choice. Make it one that honors your worth.